Welcome to Chris's Storytelling Corner. This is Christopher Moldong of Chris's Storytelling Corner. Today I'm going to do the final manga reviews for Kobato Volumes 5 and 6 as the series ends at Volume 6. So, the next manga series that I'll review will be Skip Beat. Real fun series. I actually haven't reread it in a long time, so that's kind of why I want to do it. Uh, they're in 40 volumes right now. It's still an ongoing series. There's an anime for it as well. Greatly recommend. Real funny series. I'll probably shorten the recap a bit, um, but still give my thoughts and whatnot. But yeah, if you haven't read Skip Beat yet, I'd greatly recommend. If you like comedy, greatly recommend reading Skip Beat. I'll probably do 2 volumes at a time. Try and do it every week, and we'll see. It's still an ongoing series, so we'll see. Once we reach volume 40 or whatever volumes, we'll probably just go to a new series after that and review a new volume as a new one comes out. Try something like that. Also, next time I'll have a list of top magic users in anime and manga, and a movie review for Kingsman: The Golden Circle. You can check out my author's website at www.chrismoldon.com. You can buy my first novel, a fantasy adventure called The Mustard Prince in the Convent Kingdom, for $4.99. Also, for $2.99, you can buy my short story collection, a collection of 10 short stories in the horror, fantasy, and realistic fiction genres. Check out my Twitter page and author's Facebook page. Links to all these will be provided on the description. I'd also really like to hear from you guys, so leave any comments that you can about the series. If there's any other manga you'd recommend for me to read, anime you'd recommend for me to read, any movies or comics you want me to read or watch, anything like that. Make sure to subscribe and share this channel as well. So the way that this will work is that I'll give a recap of Volume 5 of Kobato, and then give my thoughts on the volume, and do the same for Volume 6. So, let's get started with Kobato Volume 5. At the beginning of the volume, Genko gives Kohaku her Baumkuchen. I'm going to pronounce that wrong, by the way. As payment, the three go outside and Kohaku sings for them. Ginsei asks Kohaku what she would do if Shuichiro was reborn and didn't choose her. She would pray from her heart, or from the heart, that Shuichiro's intended would choose him in return. Ginsei asks if she wouldn't mind his spending his whole life with somebody other than her, well, her being Kohaku. She responds that as long as that's what brings Shuichiro happiness. Uh, we go back to Kobato. Kobato first thought that Fujimoto was a bully, but now, don't know. When she thinks of Fujimoto, Kobato's heart hurts. Fujimoto asks how long she's going to stand there. Kobato says that she wants to sing. They're in the kindergarten, by the way, and they're working. The students show up and want to hear Kobato sing as well, so Fujimoto plays the organ as Kobato sings, and Fujimoto recognizes Kobato's voice from the flower viewing. After the song, Kobato starts crying and tells Fujimoto, "I, Fujimoto-san, I L-O, la." Sayaka comes by and recognizes her voice from the flower viewing. Everyone notices that Kobato's crying, and she leaves. With Kobato and Ioryogi by themselves, Kobato admits that she loves Fujimoto. However, she thinks that he sees her as a pain and a useless failure, always making mistakes. She's convinced that Fujimoto doesn't love her. Sayaka talks to Fujimoto about Kobato being sad, and then go back to Kobato at her apartment, and she's sleeping, but with tears in her eyes. Genko, well, we go back to Genko. Um, Actually, Genko meets with Ioryogi on a neighboring rooftop. Um, so in the right by the apartment complex, Genko wants to talk about the girl, and then Ioryogi tells Genko that Kobato admitted to to loving Fujimoto. It's revealed that if Kobato's wish is granted, Kobato will never see Fujimoto again. If she gives up on her wish and be with Fujimoto instead, they'll be in their form for good. Genko reveals that they went along with Ioryogi's battle against the heavenly world because Ioryogi was in love with an angel. He met the angel on the bridge. Gosh, the one in the intersectional bridge or something like that, the seasonal bridge. It's the seasonal bridge with which the other world intersects once every 12 years, and the worlds discuss matters of consequence relevant to both realms. At which time there's held a negotiation among the three worlds, even though Ioryogi is royalty, or during that time he's Ioryogi is royalty, he skipped those meetings regularly. So Ioryogi went to see that angel on the lake under a bridge. She is apparently caught in a tree, and then he helped the angel and she started singing. That angel was the one entrusted by God to hatch the angel's eggs of the heavenly world with her tremendous singing voice. That angel will never be Ioryogi's if he doesn't find a way for that girl to fulfill her wish. Um, Back with Fujimoto, he knocks on Kobato's door. She tells him that she can't open the door right now, and then they talk with the closed door between them. He asks if she's still crying. She asks if that would inconvenience him. He admits that the her that's always smiling like an idiot is not so bad. She reassures him that she's alright, and then Fujimoto leaves a gift bag from Tyrol hanging on a doorknob and leaves. She then takes it back, goes back inside, and asks Fujimoto for forgiveness. Not directly to him, just kind of like to herself. Um, Sayaka sees Fujimoto and he comments that he went to see Kobato. Then um, Fujimoto leaves. Actually, wait. Sayaka sees Fujimoto, and she comments that he went to see Kobato, and Fujimoto leaves. Sayaka comments that he changed a lot ever since he met Kobato. She then says that she has to change too. Kobato returns to the kindergarten and speaks with Fujimoto. She tells him that she's alright. And then Fujimoto sees Sayaka talking on the phone and gets angry, and then he leaves to get a broom. Kobato admits that she wants to heal Fujimoto's heart, not because she wants to fill the bottle, but for him to be able to smile. She sees a Yakuza that she helped save, and he's pretty much just observing her kind of discreetly. She approaches him, and he reveals that the hospital managed to cure him with drugs. He thanks her for saving his life. He asks her if there's something he can do for her. She asks him to take her to see Okiura. We then see Ginsei, who's talking with Genko. Ginsei is told that the girl child has fallen in love with a human. If she gives up her wish to be with the human, it means that the agreement between God and Ioryogi would become null and void. Ioryogi went to war with the heavenly world to get himself that angel that he fell in love with. As the battle raged, a crack opened in the laws that separate the heavenly world and the human world. The battle leaked through the hole, and the worst of it falling on that little girl, Kobato. She was not fated to die for a long time, but she was mortally wounded due to a war fought over one angel. When that particular angel found out, Ioryogi's angel, she decided to insert her own soul into the girl, instead causing the girl's time to stop. Genko says that girl is neither alive nor dead. If nothing is done, both the angel and the girl will ultimately die. Ioryogi made a wish before God, and God passes judgment. So God changed his form, Ioryogi's form, and he was appointed to guide the girl, who lost her memories and any wisdom she had. Genko tells Ginsei that he knows why Usagi came to inform Ioryogi about the time limit. That's how much time is left until the angel inside the girl vanishes forever. But Ioryogi knows this already. It's revealed that the angel and Kobato share the same face. She had the same soul as Ioryogi's angel, but in a different world. This is where you get into the whole clamp, reborn, reincarnation stuff. That aspect of the Clamp universe wasn't apparent to me until I read Wish. As Genko keeps talking, Ginsei leaves. At the kindergarten, Fujimoto looks for Kobato. Two of the students approach him and tell him something about Kobato. Kobato is on a bench, and she tells Ioryogi that she wants to see the loan shark. We see a flashback from Ioryogi. He presents the body of the girl to the angel. The angel tells him that since they possess the same soul, she can stop her time and keeps this person in this world. If the girl dies while the angel's inside her, then the angel can die too. The angel asks Ioryogi to make a plea to God to exchange the rest of her life for that of the girl. Before the angel vanishes, she gets Ioryogi's name right because she kept calling him Ioryogi, and realizes that she's been saying it wrong all along. She thanks him for loving her and admits that she loves him. Ioryogi goes down on his knees before God. He asks of a way to ensure that neither the angel nor Kobato would vanish. We're back with Kobato. We see that the loan shark appears before her. Fujimoto chases after Kobato. He's told that she went away with one of the Yakuza. Kobato tells Okiura that she has a request. She tells him not to close down Yomogi Kindergarten, but he refuses. Fujimoto looks for Kobato and runs into Domoto. Domoto makes a call to some university guys to see if they've seen Kobato. Kobato asks Okiura if the kindergarten is paid for, or asks Okiura if the kindergarten is paid for, will it bring him happiness. We see Ginsei, who visits Kohaku. She comments to him that he seems just slightly lost. Back with Fujimoto, he asks himself, why does Okiura always get his hands on my... And then there's a question mark. At the end of the volume, Ginsei asks Kohaku that if she's killing off her own dreams, how is it possible to smile through that? So thoughts on volume 5. Well, there's a lot that is explained here, and I expect a lot of the same to happen in volume 6. There were 6 volumes, and it is volume 5, and I'll tell you right now, volume 6 is kind of like an information overload. We find out stuff about Ioryogi's angel. She has the same face as Kobato. They share the same soul, but they go with that whole clamp thing where they have different universes and whatnot. You also see that in Tsubasa Reservoir Chronicles. They go to the different universes, and there's different versions of themselves. They keep that, is it like a mythos? Or clamp mythology or whatever, the clamp mythos or whatever, and firmly entrenched in Kobato. What it means, we kind of get a better idea of who Kobato is, but it doesn't, it's kind of weird because it doesn't really change anything about Kobato per se. It's just like a thing that she has with her. It's like, oh, hey, there's an angel inside of you now. Okay, you're just this cute, awkward girl who loves Fujimoto, by the way, and is very helpful to everyone and really nice. And now we know you have an angel inside of you. Okay. It's like, okay, where is it all heading? That's really kind of like what I'm asking, and we'll obviously figure out in volume 6 is where is this all heading. Kobato did admit that she loves Fujimoto. I think this was kind of foreseen back in some previous volumes. I mean, he'd always pick on her. She always seemed angry, but like he's kind of like that hard ass with a heart of gold. Yeah, like honestly, he's always really mean, real gruff, but at the end of the day, he loves the kids. He wants to save Yomogi Kindergarten, wants to save Sayaka. He's a nice guy, you know. Kobato obviously loves him. Um, like I said, he's a good guy. After everything's said and done, he's no jerk. He ain't Okiera. Like this dude isn't a nice guy. Thing with Okiera, the loan shark, we still don't know much about him. We don't really know too. We know that he's like married to Sayaka, but we still don't know his motivations up until this point. We just know that he has motivation, excuse me, to get rid of Yomogi Kindergarten. Um, Yet, I think it's being strongly hinted that he's not as evil as it seems. He always seems a little too nice to just be some evil Yakuza guy. So, like, I suppose we're gonna figure out what's going on with Okiera in the final volume. He actually has not had any interaction with Sayaka except over the phone. So we have yet to see any type of face-to-face interaction between Okiera and his still wife, Sayaka. So that should be interesting. We don't really know what's going to happen as far as that's concerned. They inserted Kohaku into the story, which is interesting because, like, she is so separate from the story. Like, unless something happens in Volume 6, she is just kind of there. And, I mean, she still has that thing with Suichiro going on from Wish. And she talks to Ginsei. She hasn't talked to Ioryogi. She has not talked to Kobato or had any real interaction in like in the earthly world. She's just kind of there. Hey, I'm gonna buy my Baumkuchen. Hey, I'm gonna sing for you guys. I'll tell you about Suichiro. Okay, I I guess there's some parallels with her and Ioryogi and his angel. I don't know if they're supposed to have some parallel with Kohaku Suichiro with like Kobato and Fujimoto, maybe? She's kind of there. Like I get that Kobato is seemingly closely tied to Wish, especially when you get that angel involved. But at the same time, I don't really know what's going on with Kohaku per se. Like, well, what's her role? She's just visiting, I suppose. Ginsei has done a lot of nothing. If you really think about it, the dude just like, hey, what's up, Ioryogi? I'm gonna fight you. Oh, I'm gone. Hey, what's up, Genko? I'm gonna help you out in your Baumkuchen, but be really mean about it. And now it's just kind of like, yeah, he still hasn't interacted with Kobato. Like, what's his deal? Like, what's the end game with Ginsei? What's the point of putting him in there? I mean, there's a little backstory with him and Ioryogi, obviously. Like, Ioryogi took him in and whatnot and made Ioryogi nicer. But, yeah, he's just kind of hanging out at this point. And now, we got to hear Ioryogi's backstory with the angel. It's pretty sweet, I guess. It's really separate from what's going on. I mean, there's a connection now, because the angel is inside of Kobato. Ioryogi loves the angel, he has to help Kobato. I mean, so there's a connection there, and I guess Ioryogi wants to do what's best because it helps the angel, and in turn kind of helps himself. He's also it's being shown also that as far as his character goes, he's being nicer. It's just progressively a more caring individual. So in that sense, he actually seems some growth. So let's go on to volume 6, the final volume. The volume begins with Kohaku talking with Ginsei. She asks what it is that he wanted to do the most right now. Genko talks to Zuisho. He tells Zuisho that Ioryogi didn't care whether he lived or died. He reveals that picking up Ginsei on the bridge to the other world and taking care of him changed Ioryogi a little. Kobato tells Okiura that he has been closed up for so long. He asks what she means by that, so we're back with Kobato. She touches his heart, like, not, and his actual heart, like that chest area in front of his heart, and tells him that he closed off this part of yourself for a very long time, and he has been saying the opposite of what he truly wants to say. Ioryogi sees Kobato with wings. We go to Domoto and Fujimoto. Domoto calls Fujimoto, tells him that Kobato is at Maruyama Park. Kohaku waits for Shirichiro. So we're back with Kohaku now. She waits for Shirichiro and he comes home. She tells him that she no longer has wings. He tells her that even without wings, she's still an angel to him. Back with Ioryogi. Ioryogi comments that Okiura couldn't see those wings and that only angels have them. He questions why Kobato would have angels' wings. Kobato asks Okiura if he has someone dear to him. He hurt that person on purpose and took his leave. He's deceiving both him and that person. Ioryogi comments that Kobato is using an angel's power. She went and read Okiura's soul using an invocation. The angel should be asleep inside Kobato. Kobato is about to say who that person is, but Okiura stops her, who that person he's been deceiving. He asks if that's true, and what does she get out of granting his wishes. Kobato says that if his wish is fulfilled, it will bring her happiness as well. Fujimoto appears and gets between the two. Okiura tells him that he's going to leave, but tells him that he's going to Yomogi Kindergarten and to tell Sayaka that this is the last time. He then leaves. Fujimoto yells at Kobato and asks why she thinks that he hates her. Kobato says that there's nothing about her for him to like, and that she only makes him angry. Fujimoto says that he's not angry and suddenly hugs Kobato. Domoto comes and unknowingly interrupts them. He mentions that Sayaka is worried. Kobato gets sad at the mention of Sayaka, and seeing Fujimoto's reaction to the mention of Sayaka. Fujimoto tells Sayaka, then we go back and see Sayaka and Fujimoto in the kindergarten. Fujimoto tells Sayaka that Okiura is coming tomorrow. Sayaka tells Fujimoto that she was thinking how glad she was that he came into her life. She thanks him for sticking with her through the hard times, but it's time to move forward. She tells him that he wants him to move forward too. Fujimoto admits that he always loved her. Sayaka thanks him but mentions that he said loved, past tense. She then tells him that next time, use the present tense when you say it to her. Fujimoto says that he will. They don't say who her is. I think we can strongly assume who her is, though. Back at the apartment, Kobato tells Ioryogi that she will go to Yomogi Kindergarten tomorrow. She then thanks him. Ioryogi goes to the roof and sees Usagi. Ioryogi tells Usagi that 2 seasons haven't passed yet. He realizes that even after 2 seasons, Kobato wouldn't be able to fill up the bottle. When she healed that heart of the one that she cared for the most, she'd be the one hurt the most. Ioryogi asks what God wants in all of this. Ioryogi's angel that he loves, her name's Suisho. If I'm not mistaken, she's in Wish, or at least referred to. I am more than positive that she's in Wish, though. Anyways, that's besides the point. Shueisho, with an S, not a Z, appears before Ioryogi, flying over him with wings. It was Shueisho back there looking into Okiura's heart. and she's grateful to Ioryogi for helping Kobato and thanks him. Usagi appears and tells them that it all happens tomorrow. The wings from Suisho disappear and she falls unconscious to the ground. The next morning, Kobato talks to Chitose and thanks her for everything. Chitose sees her daughters and seems worried. Chitose does. Kobato comments that she hardly filled the bottle at all. She wants to see Sayaka-sensei happy and smiling. Kobato sees Sayaka and tells her to please do what she thinks is best. So Okiura, who we find out, or may have found out earlier, his real name's Kazuto, so I'll just refer to him as Kazuto from now on, appears in front of the kindergarten. And Kobato and Sayaka go out to meet him. Sayaka tells them that she's closing down Yomogi Kindergarten for good. Sayaka asks Kazuto a question. She asks if his father and his company were the ones that drove her father to debt. He says yes, and says he knew all about it. Sayaka then asks if that plan was in place before they got married. Kazuto says, "You got it?" He tells her that that's why he split with her once they bled her father dry. Sayaka then asks why he married her. Kazuto tells her that it's easier to figure out the dynamics of a financial situation as a son-in-law than a total stranger. Sayaka tells him that in the case of his father's company, any amount of money swindled from her father and the kindergarten would have been pocket change compared to what his father's company makes. For him to go and enter his name into her family's register just doesn't add up. Sayaka reveals that when they married, Kazuto cut off all ties with his father, with Kazuto's father. He declared to never go back to him again and came to Sayaka. She then reveals that her father investigated him. Kazuto's father hadn't given up on him inheriting the business, so Kazuto stayed with them, and Sayaka's father took on the debt and died shortly thereafter. Sayaka suggests that his father said that Kazuto's father said that she was next, presumably to get killed. Sayaka then reveals that Kazuto wanted her to close up the kindergarten and move far away where Kazuto's father couldn't get to her. Kazuto reveals that by telling her all that, he'd only make her cry, so that's why he never said it to her, and Sayaka then slaps him. Sayaka tells him that she's been waiting all this time for him to just tell her to come live with her. She then asks why he left her all alone. Fujimoto appears and interrupts. He reveals that Sayaka says that she's gonna stay Sayaka Okiura. Kazuto then hugs Sayaka. Sayaka says that maybe in the future they can start a new kindergarten. Fujimoto tells them that before he came here, he stopped by Domoto's dad's law office. He says that he'll handle the clearing of liabilities and the final kindergarten closure. He then tells the two to start running. Kazuto says that even if they run, his father is going to come after them. Sayaka says that they'll just run again and that as long as they're together, she knows they can win. Kobato asks Sayaka that if Okio, or Kazuto's father, stopped chasing them, would that heal her? Sayaka says that such a thing would be wonderful. She then asks Fujimoto if that would heal him. Kobato looks up to the sky and says, "I have found my wish, Usagi-san." Ioryogi runs up to Kobato and asks how she knows Usagi. Kobato says that God introduced us. Kobato reveals that she had a talk with God that day when her time stopped. God told her that for a reason that had nothing to do with her, she would probably die. If she had a wish, God was willing to grant one to her. Kobato told him that she wanted to live. God told her that somebody else was working to make that happen, so he told her to wish for something else. Kobato said that she wanted to go to a place where there will be people who love her. Kobato reveals that before all this happened, she was always sick and weakly. She wished to go to where those who treasured her would be. God told her that wishes tend to change. In the human world, she would forget all sorts of things and be helped by all sorts of people. If in that time her wish were to change, or if she were to find a new wish, then she was to call Ioryogi-san. Kobato tells Usagi that she wishes for Okiura's father to never again do anything bad to Sayaka and Okiura, and to allow them to live together in happiness. Ioryogi tells her that if her wish comes true, she's gonna end up dead. The bottle opens up and the wounded hearts come out. Her headpiece falls off, and this crown of light appears above her head. She thanks Ioryogi and gets his name right, and then tells Fujimoto, I love you. She then tells him farewell as she vanishes. Presumably, the three, Sayaka, Kazuto, and Fujimoto, their memory of all this has been wiped away at this point. So we then see the three just kind of standing there, and Sayaka asks Fujimoto what's wrong. Fujimoto asks if they were the only three people there. Sayaka says that the three decided to talk things over. Fujimoto starts crying and says that he has a feeling that he's missing something and that he lost something extremely precious. A wounded heart is shown just above his hand around his chest area. We go into the future. We see Kobato in a school uniform with Ioryogi in front of Yomogi Kindergarten. Ioryogi reveals that it's been 16 years. So Kobato's 16. Kobato did wound up dying, but she was reborn while retaining the memories of her previous life. As a child, she found Ioryogi. Ioryogi has been watching over her ever since she was born. Ioryogi tells Kobato that Yomogi Kindergarten is being run by Kazuto and Sayaka Okiura. Okiura's father isn't giving them any trouble. They're living in peace. He tells her that they don't remember Kobato at all, though, nor does Fujimoto remember her. Kobato's wish was to be able to go where her loved ones are. Her loved ones obviously are like Fujimoto, Sayaka, and all her, and everyone there. Kobato sees a flyer that says that Yomogi Kindergarten is looking for part-time help, and she's going to interview. Or she saw a flyer. Fujimoto appears and asks if he can help her. He asks her if she has business with the kindergarten. She sees a pin on his suit and says, which I guess in Japan reveals that he's a lawyer. And she acknowledges, hey, you're a lawyer. Fujimoto tells her that he's simply there on an errand and that she'll have to speak with Sayaka-sensei, the principal. He then walks away. Usagi appears with a flower, pours some stuff from the flower. It looks like this weird light. I don't know what it is. It's just dew. I don't know, but it's something from the flower, and you see the wounded heart. So I'm assuming that he took the wounded heart away. Not 100% sure though, or inserted it. It's really hard to tell actually. But anyways, Fujimoto then says, "You're late." He turns around and says, "My precious person has finally come back to me." He then tells her, "I love you, Kobato," and hugs her. A string comes from the flower and touches Ioryogi. We're shown Genko's Baumkuchen shop. It's revealed that Kobato helped out in the shop when she was a child, along with Ioryogi, like when she was reborn. Genko reveals that Ginsei made a wish to God that if the girl child Kobato and Fujimoto were ever to meet again, that Fujimoto would regain the memories he lost. Ginsei is then shown in a childlike form, still as that like weird wolf bunny thingy. Then we see Ioryogi sees Shuisho. She tells him that she's still needed within Kobato to control her illness. When she lives her life out, she should be much healthier in the next life, so much so that she won't be needed. She asks him if he'll come for her then. Ioryogi says that she doesn't even need to ask, and that he should return to his old self by then. We're shown Fujimoto and Kobato hugging, and Kobato tells him that she loves him too. So at the end of the series, we see Kobato and Fujimoto hugging each other. So, some thoughts on Volume 6. Let's just start from the beginning. And kind of go to the end. I said it in, like with volume 5, and I'll say it with volume 6 here. I don't really understand Kohaku's role in all this. She's just kind of there. She's hanging out with Shuichiro. They got their thing going on. Cool. Like, however, she played no part in the. She played no bigger part in the story per se, unless we're supposed to somehow connect Kohaku with Ginsei, and maybe Ginsei's talking to Kohaku may have convinced Ginsei to make that wish to God. Maybe that's the connection. Otherwise, there's no real connection with Kohaku and the rest of the story. She just kind of came by, hung out, bought her Baumkuchen, hung out with, and now is, living happily with Shuichiro. Ginsei finally plays his, like, ultimate role here. You see in Volume 1, he's this violent dude. You think that he's going to attack. He has powers and whatnot. At the very end of the series, you find out his ultimate goal is to make a wish for Kobato. And, hey, it was nice. And I guess it kind of goes to shit, because Ginsei didn't really seem to care about the girl child, Kobato. So this was, like, pretty nice of him, like a nice thing for him to do. And in that sense, showed a little bit of growth with the character. Fujimoto, big role here. He becomes a lawyer, admits his love to Kobato, admitted his love to Sayaka finally, He, at the end of the day, this dude's Job, man. If you ever read the Bible and read Job, this guy was suffering, doing all these part-time jobs, didn't, love Sayaka, but she didn't love her back, hated Okiura, At the very end of it all, though, Fujimoto got got it all. He's a lawyer, he got the girl, still buddies, seemingly still buddies with Sayaka, and most likely buddies with Okiura at this point. All good with Fujimoto. He comes out on top at the end. We finally got to learn about Kazuto Okiura. Okay, so the thing with Kazuto is that we kind of, if you read between the lines, I mean, this is even the first time you meet the guy wasn't evil. You kind of knew it, but you didn't actually know, like, what the actual story is. Apparently, the dude's got a heart of gold. Apparently the guy's got, like, I guess it's a clamp, hard ass with a heart of gold. He's not really hard ass, but, like, like, at the end of the day, he was, like, one of the most caring people of the series. He did what he did out of love. Whether it was the right approach or not is obviously a very convoluted and seemingly wrong approach to, it's like, bro, you can just be honest with your wife, like, there was no reason not to tell her, like, gonna make her cry, well, she's gonna cry anyways, like, he's been making her cry this whole time, but, flawed individual for sure. I suppose he's not Yakuza anymore, like, I guess we can kind of forget that little, darkness in his past, I suppose, if you think about it. But, you finally get to know his story. It's really interesting. Tim and his dad, the ultimate bad guy of the story, was never seen, in a sense. It's kind of unfortunate, in a sense. It's like, okay, the ultimate bad guy was Kazuto Okiura's father. He was this man that's referenced but never seen. And he's the one that kind of triggered the events that led to, like, the very end and whatnot. Well, that led to like this, their marriage separation and whatnot, and by extension got Fujimoto involved, and by extension got Kobato involved. We got to know a little bit about Sayaka too, so, like decided to close down the kindergarten. She's, you know, smarter than she was always pretty smart and bright. Stronger than we thought, I suppose. Always hiding something. Um, at the end of the day, though, she was pretty normal. You know what I mean? I don't really know how to say it, but it's just kind of like, you know, she's just kind of like this nice woman. Like I can't really pinpoint anything about Sayaka that stands out. I mean, okay, like she's perseverant. She fought, the whole time. And even though when things were looking grim, she still fought. So it's an admirable quality about Sayaka. Um, Otherwise, she's just kind of there. Like I can't really explain it. Like I, I don't think she really like can't necessarily say that she grew per se, but like I just can't really see her character like changing too much. To be honest, I don't want to be so down on Sayaka. It's just that like I guess what I want to say is like she lacks presence as a character. Um, it's pretty unfair. It's pretty mean of me to say, but it's what it seemed like to me. We got to know a whole lot about Ioryogi or Ioryogi. Um, yeah, throughout the whole series, I mean, he seems to have gotten a bit nicer as the series goes along. He's always protecting Kohaku. And once again, I, I've been using this term for a lot of characters, but it kind of applies to a lot of these characters. Pretty much hard ass with a heart of gold. It's like that's Ioryogi. It's just kind of like he's mean. He can be really direct, sometimes violent, but at the end of the day, he's always doing what's best for Kobato. He seemingly cares. Um, and at the end, he gets a pretty good ending too, in a sense, where it's just kind of like, things are gonna be happily ever after with him and Shuisho. Um, they kind of just made mention of it and foreshadowed it. Hey, just wait for me. I'm gonna return to my normal form. You'll be back to being the Angel Shuisho. Cool. Like at the very end, it's all good. You know. Uh, God and Ushagi was quite prevalent in here too. You had to do, like the Deus Ex Machina character. And really, that is just what Ushagi and God were in this series. Things were a bit convenient, I guess. By the very end, things were like pretty convenient. So the thing is with like the ending, uh, um, I remember when I read it a while ago, I was not very satisfied with the ending. It seemed like a cop out. Not gonna lie, the first time I read the ending to Kobato, I was just like, they played the reincarnation rebirth card. You know what I mean? It just kind of like it's a little too easy. And and by doing that, you can almost always get the happy ending. I mean, they kind of played that. They played that card with Wish, so like that kind of bugged me when I first read it. Rereading it, it's not so bad. It was pretty sweet actually. Um, on the second time around, I was like, oh, okay, this is pretty sweet. Like she got her wit. She has her wish, fulfills her wish and whatever. Um, we see kind of like the epilogue. She ends up with Fujimoto. Ginsei makes her wish unto God. She gets But like, if you think about it, it is a bit too convenient. You know what I mean? It's just kind of like, hey, I'm reincarnated. Cool. It's 16 years later. Cool. Okay. Like, that means that she's 16. He's going to be like 32, 33 or something like that. So he's going to be twice her age. Doesn't really seem to matter very much, though. He looks exactly the same. Fujimoto does. Um, but, yeah, it was a bit too easy, especially after having, like, that that like if you ended it with her just kind of vanishing and saying I love you, that would have been very impactful. It'd be really sad, but that was like the moment, of the series in a sense. It's just like, okay, that the head, her head thing. It's not. They say it's a hat, but like her headpiece or whatever it was fell off. There's the crown. The bottles in play. Everything's in play now. You know what I mean? She's gonna get her wish fulfilled. She changed her wish. They foreshadowed the fact that wishes change. Okay, here we are. Wish fulfilled. She says, "I love you." Bye bye. Farewell. And that was like one of the more impactful moments of the series. And then it's just kind of like, let's turn it back and we're gonna reincarnate. She's gonna get reborn as Kobato and remember everything from before. Okay, this is very easy, very convenient. Oh, hey, there's a little small obstacle here. Fujimoto doesn't remember her. Okay. Hey, Usagi, what's up? Deus Ex Machina character, Oh, hey. Now, then it's like, oh, they lived happily ever after. And it's like, okay, it's not bad, per se, but it's like, in a sense, the first time I read it, it's like they cheated to get the happy ending, you know? Um, but, this has been established within the Clamp universe already. Like I said, the first time I saw it was in Wish. But then, like, Tsubasa Reservoir Chronicles kind of makes mention, has it too, where it's like, oh, you can get reincarnated, you can get reborn. There's different dimensions with the same people there and whatnot. So, now, but second reading, second time reading it, like I said, it was pretty sweet. You know, I think for the most part, most things are like, most loose ends have been tied. Uh, like I said, I don't know what Kohaku is really doing there. Like, Ginsei played his role. We finally figured out what his whole thing was and his end game. Um, everyone kind of came out really good at the end. We know that we get the impression that most of the characters that were like transformed will probably change back. Sayaka got together with Kazuto. The father's not in their business. Fujimoto's a lawyer, gets a girl. Kobato gets with Fujimoto at the end. Ioryogi is probably going to end up with Shueisha. Everything's good. That's the thing. It really was just like a happy ending. So that's all for today. If you like this, don't forget to subscribe, share, and comment to this channel. Thank you for listening to this movie review. Or, excuse me, manga review. To this manga review. Next time, I will have a manga review for Skip Beat Volumes 1 and 2, a list of the top magic users in anime and manga, and a movie review for Kingsman: The Golden Circle. Thank you, and until next time.